Hey, what's up everybody? Jeff Beers here from the 40 Finance channel, and today I have 4 medical aesthetic stocks, aka plastic surgery stocks, for us to look at in this new generation of age and beauty. And if you like videos about stock analysis, investment ideas, and personal finance topics, then don't forget to subscribe to the 40 Finance channel. So the first thing to think about in the medical aesthetics market is, of course, the market size. Right now, the market stands at about $10 billion, $10 to $12 billion, depending on who you ask, and it's projected to grow about 10% a year to reach almost $20 billion by the year 2025. And a lot of this growth is natural, right? In the sense that we do have an aging population. When you think of the baby boomers and retirees, they have a lot more options for beautification and medical aesthetics technology that weren't there in the past, and they're opting for these treatments. We also have the sort of Instagram era where everybody's concerned with how they look at how they look on cameras, how they share their pictures. So there's sort of a natural demand that has spiked in that realm. And on the medical side, doctors and medical providers love these type of procedures because they don't get reimbursed by insurance. It's all cash buyers. So you have an increase in demand, an increase in interest from the service providers, and in my opinion, this is only going to grow more and more over time. Now, when you're thinking of the medical aesthetics market, it basically includes everything under the sun, from breast augmentation, body sculpting, Botox, facelifts, you name it, it all comes into this market. And some of the options that I'll show you here there's niche stocks that do certain things, or they provide instruments for certain types of treatment, and then there's other ones that do a little bit of everything. So let's jump into these 4 stocks. All right, the first big one, and this one is the big one, is Allergan. Allergan has acquired tons of these small companies. Anybody who comes up with a halfway decent patent, Allergan is a candidate to buy those companies. And Allergan right now has so many irons in the fire on the plastic surgery, medical aesthetics market that they are definitely the one to get if you want to focus on the big dog in the industry. Some of the big names in the Allergan line include Botox, Juvederm, Cool Sculpting. They have a whole line of breast implants. So you name it, if you're going to a large medical facility for plastic surgery, more than likely they're probably going to be using some of Allergan's products. Now, from a stock perspective, Allergan is a large market cap stock, so it doesn't have as extreme movements as we're going to see from some of these little guys. In fact, right now it sits at a $66 billion market cap. You got a ticker price today of $201. It doesn't have a current PE ratio. It wasn't profitable this most recent quarter. However, the forward PE comes in at a very low 11.15. So that's kind of promising. And you see from the 1-year chart here, they have been on a 52-week range of $115 up to the current price of $201. One of the bonuses with a stock like Allergan is you also have a dividend, a 1.53% yield for the year. So it's not all about stock price in this particular scenario. You also have some dividend action as well. Looking at the tip ranks dashboard for Allergan, and you got pretty much a hold scenario. We've got 3 analysts of the top performing who are following Allergan. They have it at flat for the year, coming in right at 201.50 is the median estimate. You got a high of 203 and a low of 200. I think one of the big things to dig into on Allergan, if you're interested, is try to see how much they've been spending on these small companies. Are we in a period right now where they're still paying off some of that debt from their acquisitions? What's the long-term plan? Because I think if you're in this stock for 5 to 10 years, knowing just the little bit that I've researched about it, it looks like it has some pretty good fundamentals for the future, but in this acquisition stage, the profitability might be a little up and down. All right, the number 2 stock on the list, and this is where we're starting into smaller companies. This company is called InMode. And InMode makes laser and RFD equipment for skin rejuvenation. So non-invasive procedures. You can kind of see a picture here of somebody applying a laser beam to skin, however that works. But they're basically in the equipment business, right? So they sell this equipment to medical professionals who then use it to provide services. And that's where the doctor gets his or her profitability from. But on the InMode side, it's all about equipment. Looking at InMode stock right now, you're at 1.46 billion market cap, which is about 1/65th of Allergan size. Over the past year, they've had some decent gains. They've been as low as $13 and up to today's price of $45.65. We've got a PE today of 39.39 with a forward PE of 26.67. So that's obviously dropping, which is exactly what we want to see. And you've had some growth over the past year. So to me, InMode is probably the most exciting out of the small stocks that I'm featuring here today, just on pure fundamentals. However, when you're doing your research, make sure you look at the sales and innovation side of things and make sure that they're going to continue to keep innovating and growing sales to keep this kind of pace up. All right, on the tip rank side of things, there's only one analyst who covers InMode out of the best performing, and that's just probably because of its size. That one analyst gives it a 20% upside at a target price of $55. So there is some positive sentiment, at least with one person. You probably have to go into smaller forums and things like that to get more feedback on InMode as far as profitability, or excuse me, stock price for 2020. So make sure you do a little bit of your own research first. All right, stock number 3 is a company called Cutera. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that right. Cutera. And what Cutera makes is laser equipment for body sculpting. So similar to InMode, they're providing the equipment and the technology to help physicians offer these treatments in their office. And with a focus on body sculpting is what Cutera is working on here. So all in all, this is a pretty small company. You got a $400 million market cap, not profitable yet, no PE, so it's definitely, you know, a small cap stock. However, over the past year, you've seen some nice growth in line with the market. You had a $13 low on the 52-week range, and then obviously today you're up to $28. I think the key with a company like this is, you know, you can either, one, hope for a buyout coming out, you know, over the next 2 to 3 years, or two, you find something in your research that says their technology is industry class leading, something like that, where it's just going to keep growing as this market gets bigger. On the tip rank side of things for Cutera, you got very similar to InMode. We have one analyst who's following this out of the best performing. That person gives a target price of $45, which is a 60% upside from today. So there again, there is that positive sentiment signal that we have here. It is a small cap stock though, so obviously it's going to be a little bit of a roller coaster ride. But if this is one after you go through your research and you like what they're selling and you like the market for this type of body sculpting equipment, then maybe this is one you throw in your portfolio for the long term. All right, last on the list is a company that I think has probably the most intriguing business proposition, at least in my opinion, and that is Soliton. And their main business proposition is going after tattoo removal. They've got some other things cooking as well in this space, but the big thing right now is if you went today to get tattoo removal, supposedly it takes about 10 office visits with this short pulse laser that is not only painful, but takes a long time or multiple visits to see results. They've invented a new technology that incorporates acoustic waves with lasers to not only speed up the removal process down to 2 or 3 office visits, they claim, but it also eliminates a lot of the pain that goes into the other the sort of traditional laser treatment that we see today. So they found a way to do tattoo removal faster, and they found a way to make it less painful. I think all of those things are very intriguing proposals, so this is a stock I'm going to watch. Looking at Soliton over the past year, market cap 233 million, so it's the smallest of the bunch by a mile. You got a share price of $12.95. No PE on this one, not very surprising. 52-week range has been between $4 and $29. So it has shown a propensity to hit the $29 mark. We're at $12.95 right now. It doesn't mean we'll ever get back to $29, but from a research standpoint, I always like to see what the potential high bar could be in the short term, and it looks like, you know, we'd have to go back and see why it hit 29. Was it a good quarterly report? Has it since been bad quarterly reports? I'm not sure, but just from a chart example, this one gives me some intrigue because at least it's not riding at its highest point. All right, very similar to the others on the tip rank side, we have one analyst who's covering this stock. 69% upside target to a price of $22. This is really exciting, except for the fact we're dealing with a super small market cap stock, right? If you think the market's going to grow as big as they're projecting, particularly after the year 2025, can you get into Soliton today at $13 and maybe stash some off to the side, right? Maybe you get 50 shares or 100 shares, whatever's comfortable for you, and you just let it sit. You're dealing with something that's not profitable yet though, so you're definitely going to want to do your research on their business plan. How many units are they selling? But in my opinion, I think tattoo removal is definitely going to be a thing. Seeing some of the folks I see walking around, well, as you get older, the tattoos, you know, naturally don't look as well, and life changes in a lot of ways. So there's definitely a market here. Is Soliton the one that you want to own for the long term? That's what we'd have to dig more into. All right, so those are 4 plastic surgery plays for you in the stock market. If you're doing your research, look under medical aesthetics. I started in plastic surgery, and it seems like from a market standpoint, you want to look into medical aesthetics companies. Hopefully this high level gives you something to think about. If you'd like it, please give me a like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next video.